The man who faked his own death. In 2011, a man walked into the ocean during a kayaking trip and never came back. His wife cried at the funeral. His business partner gave the eulogy. 2 years later, he was found alive, 3,000 miles away, living under a name that wasn't his. This is the story of how he pulled it off. And the one mistake that destroyed everything. We'll call him Daniel Reyes. At first glance, Daniel looked like an ordinary man. He owned a small financial consulting business, lived in a quiet neighborhood, and had 2 children he adored. But behind closed doors, his life was falling apart. A risky investment had failed spectacularly. He owed hundreds of thousands of dollars. Creditors called every day. Bills piled up on the kitchen table. His marriage was under pressure. Every morning he woke up feeling trapped. Then there was something else. A life insurance policy worth $2 million. To everyone around him, Daniel seemed exhausted. To Daniel, it looked like an escape route. He wasn't a hardened criminal. He wasn't a mastermind. He was a desperate man who believed he had run out of options. And once the idea entered his mind, he couldn't let it go. If he disappeared, his family would receive the money. The debts would disappear. And maybe somewhere else, he could start over. Daniel spent months preparing. Late at night, he researched famous disappearance cases. He studied every mistake people had made. People used credit cards. They contacted family. They got careless. Daniel promised himself he wouldn't. He slowly withdrew small amounts of cash from different accounts. Never enough to attract attention. Over several months, he built a secret stash of money. Then he bought a kayak. Friends thought it was a new hobby. He told everyone he needed a way to clear his head from the stress. No one questioned it. Next, he found the perfect location. A remote stretch of coastline known for dangerous currents and previous drowning accidents. If someone vanished there, authorities wouldn't be surprised if the ocean never returned the body. Everything was ready. On a cloudy evening, Daniel loaded the kayak into his truck and drove toward the coast. He launched into the water alone. A few hours later, the kayak was discovered upside down near the rocks. Its owner was nowhere to be found. But Daniel wasn't dead. He had secretly swum to a secluded area farther down the coast. Waiting there was someone he had paid to drive him away. By sunrise, Daniel Reyes had vanished. Search and rescue teams worked 4 days. Helicopters scanned the water. Boats searched the shoreline. Nothing. No body. No evidence. Eventually, authorities reached the conclusion everyone feared. Daniel had drowned. The funeral was emotional. His wife cried. Friends shared stories. His business partner called him a devoted father. People left flowers beside his photograph. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, Daniel was beginning a new life. He rented a tiny apartment under a different name. He worked cash jobs, avoided photographs, avoided attention. And for over a year, it worked perfectly, almost too perfectly. Then came the mistake. One night, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about his children. He wondered how they were doing. Were they okay? Did they miss him? Against his better judgment, he created a fake online profile and contacted an old friend. The message was short, just a few sentences. But there was one small detail. A phrase, a strange expression that only Daniel used. The friend froze. It sounded exactly like him. At first, the friend laughed it off, then casually mentioned it to investigators. An investigator decided to take another look. The account was traced. The IP address led to another state. Suddenly, little details from the original case didn't make sense anymore. Why had there been no signs of struggle? Why had Daniel recently withdrawn cash? Why had he bought the kayak only months before disappearing? Piece by piece, the puzzle came together. Then one morning, There was a knock on an apartment door. Daniel opened it. Standing outside were investigators. No dramatic chase. No attempt to run. Just silence. Because in that moment, he knew it was over. Daniel was arrested and charged with fraud and insurance deception. The insurance payout was stopped and recovered. But the financial consequences weren't the worst part. The real damage was personal. His family had mourned him. His children had believed their father was dead. And now they had to face something even harder. The truth. To them, the betrayal hurt more than the money. Daniel wanted a fresh start. Instead, he got his old life back. As evidence in a courtroom. Stories like this happen more often than people think. And almost all of them end the same way. Not because of brilliant detectives. Not because of advanced technology. But because human beings make human mistakes. A message. A phone call. A moment of weakness. One tiny decision can destroy the perfect plan. So here's the question. What do you think finally gave Daniel away? Comment your guess below before reading the answers.